Hello. I hope you are staying cool. For today's practice, we will need 2 blocks at the end of practice. So just have them nearby. And we will start in bound angle, Baddha Konasana, with the bottoms of the feet together and heels wherever you want them to be. They don't need to be all the way tucked in to where, all the way in toward your body. They can be wherever your legs sit comfortably and wherever your pelvis sits comfortably. So if you pull them in and you kind of do one of these with a flexed spine, move them out, sit up, and then adjust accordingly. But you want a neutral pelvis and a neutral spine. If you want a little extra support, you can use your blocks under your legs. However you want to manage that. If it feels good to you to sit with no support, totally do that. But just let hands rest anywhere they want to be. And let your eyes close. And start to notice your breath. We won't change breath a ton here. We'll just start to let it slow. And move into its natural rhythm. Allowing all of your systems to catch up with one another. Letting your breath quiet. And maybe the mind will follow. Let's take 2 more breaths right where you are. And let your eyes open. Let your hands rest, I don't know, maybe your knees, maybe your shins. I feel more natural on my shins. And maybe if you have your blocks under your legs, it might feel better to move them here. But we're gonna start those torso circles. We're just gonna do like 5 in each direction, and the blocks just might hinder your movement, but if you want them there, definitely keep them there. So just whichever direction you want, just start to move your torso in circles. Just maybe 5 times in one direction. And then when you've done 5, switch the other direction. Just to kind of wake things up in the hips here and come back into center. And we'll sit up really tall, find your sitting bones, and send your belly button forward. So it's not an extreme pelvic tilt, but an intentional tilt forward. Take a nice big inhale. And when you exhale, start to tip forward with a long, long spine. And as soon as you get to the place where you naturally stop, let the upper body round down. And then use your hands, your elbows, maybe your blocks to find support for your arms so that you don't go, I don't know, further than is wholly necessary here at the very beginning of your practice. You want some sensation, but we don't really need to be like flat on the ground either. So just finding a little bit of opening in the low spine, in the hips, inner thighs, but not this giant stretch. And just take one more breath here. And make your way back up to seated. Send your arms out to the side and up. And on your exhale, left hand to right knee, right hand behind you, maybe on a block. That might be nice. And find the twist. You can use that left hand as leverage. You can use that right hand. If it's on the block, you might be able to get a little more leverage. But just as in the fold that we just did, it doesn't need to be this giant twisty twist. Just a little, hello there, we're going to spiral now. Inhale into center. And exhale, twist the other direction. Just moving the spine in all the ways that the spine moves. And inhale into center. On your exhale, bring your right hand down and your left hand overhead, a little lateral flexion. Make the left sitting bone heavy. It might want to pop up. Let it be heavy and still grounded. You're gonna have probably more weight in your right side seat. Just because, that's the law. But a little intention in the left hip. Inhale up and exhale over to the other side. And then same thing, you're gonna be a little heavier in the left now, but letting the right side reach down. And come back into center, big inhale. And exhale, hands down. Extend your right foot out in front of you. And tuck your left foot in wherever is comfortable on the inside of the leg. So same thing with the bound angle. You don't have to pull it all the way in to touch your body. Anywhere along the inside of the leg is totally fine. And inhale up. Keep a nice long spine. Exhale, fold. And wherever your hands land, that's where they ought to be. You can let them rest on the floor, on your shin, maybe peace fingers around toes. Wherever you are, it doesn't actually really matter as long as you are kind of lingering just before your edge. Doesn't have to be, well, I guess the other one was the twistiest twist, so this doesn't have to be the stretchiest stretched. I'm going to use all the yoga terms today. But you want to be aware of it. On each inhale, get tall and long, and on each exhale, soften and round a little bit more. So depending on what your body is up to this morning, you may have this solely in your hamstring on the right side. It may just be in the left hip and left side low back. It might be a little bit of A, a little bit of B. It might be somewhere completely different. But wherever it is, that is where you are supposed to be feeling it right now. And find one more breath. And come all the way up into seated. Just for a second, extend both legs out and just notice what's happening from side to side. You might have like one side of your back feels open, one back of the leg feels open, and then the other sides may not at all. Or if you even notice a difference at all. And then slide your right foot in. Left leg stays out long. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, fold. Again, hands land wherever hands land. And we'll stay a little while like we did on the other side. So if you give it some time, the muscles kind of soften and release on their own. As you can see, Tuka's coming to visit. Hopefully she stays in the other room and doesn't just breathe super loud. She's been sitting outside in this, horrifically hot weather. And she stays out there until she's gonna catch on fire, and then she comes inside and then just breathes hard for the rest of the day. Take a couple long, slow, deep, full breaths. And make your way all the way back up. And then give your legs a little bounce. Just kind of evening out each side. And bring your feet away from each other. So sitting in a nice wide posture. And not so wide that you can't. There's no movement when you try to move your torso. Maybe they're at 90 degrees. Maybe they're a little wider. But again, finding this upright posture first. And walking hands forward, 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 just like we did in bound angle. When you get to your natural stopping point, start to allow your torso to round forward. So this is also another place that the blocks might come in super handy if you want some support. Under your hands or under your forearms. And sometimes I'll cue to keep your feet and legs really active. For right this second, leave your feet, just let them do whatever they want. Just tuning into the sensation that may be most loud in your inner thighs, but it could be other places. But if you have that stretch in the inner thighs, be real quiet here and see if you can tell if one is louder than the other. So we have all these little imbalances that we don't even notice. If we get really quiet, we can start to see them and get a little better picture of what's going on in there. So for instance, my right leg is quite a bit louder than my left here. And then I think, well, that kind of makes sense why my left low back has been fussy lately. Because that, usually if something is happening on one side of the body, there's an effect on the other side, kind of a counter posture on the other side of the body somewhere. Kind of ping pongs back and forth between right and left. And oftentimes when there's something happening, for instance, in your left low back, your left low back is not the problem. It's somewhere else. But our practice gives us the opportunity to notice these things and address them. Slowly, slowly, slowly make your way back up. And use your hands to pull legs back together and give them a little bounce again. Make your way to tabletop. And here you might like to have your blocks under hands. I don't know, I've been kind of into that lately, letting my fingers kind of wrap around the front, and I feel like I can find a little bit more flexion and extension in my spine in my cat-cow. Or at least a different angle, just something, I don't know. After you've been doing cat-cows as long as we have, it's just kind of fun to mix up, go crazy, use blocks. So on your exhale, you know how this goes, round up into your cat. Inhale, release the ribs, release the seat, lift the chin. And exhale, round. So do this one really slowly and match it with a long, slow breath. So when you start your inhale and you start that belly descent, keep that inhale going until you find that full extension in your spine. Let the breath last as long as the movement, and the movement last as long as the breath. Exhale. And keep moving with your breath. And there's plenty of time here to linger in one direction or the other if you feel like it. Come back into a neutral spine. Slide your blocks out of the way if you used them and come back into child's pose. Wide knees, narrow knees, however you want that to look or feel. Just let your forehead rest. Do whatever you want to with your arms. Find breath. And then rise up just a little bit so you can walk both hands to the right side of the mat. Stack your left hand on top of your right, and then exhale, chest and head come down into child's pose, but a little bit different focus here, finding some length on the left side of the body. And a couple deep breaths. Rise up just enough to walk hands over to the left, right hand on top of left, and exhale, body comes down. Big breath. Make your way back into center. And inhale up into your tabletop. On your exhale, shift hips and shoulders forward, lower down to your belly. We're going to keep moving here. Inhale, cobra. Push up into your tabletop and all the way back into your child's pose. So moving through that flow 3 times maybe. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. You can kind of do like a slow, like different places call it different things, but like we called it the worm or the caterpillar. Inhale, cobra. Press up like a reverse worm or a caterpillar and back into child's pose. Inhale up. Start with the thighs, top of the thighs, pelvis, low belly, mid belly, ribs, chest, forehead. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale, cobra. Keep lifting the cobra back into child's pose. Let's do 2 more. That's nice. Unless you're tired. And then do whatever you want. Inhale, tabletop. Kind of do that slow roll down. As soon as you land, inhale, cobra. Back into child's pose. And the last time, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, chest legs. Exhale, back to child's pose. And come back up into your tabletop so that you can come to your back. So have your blocks nearby. Roll all the way down to your back. Give yourself a couple breaths here. Again, to let everybody catch up with each other. Maybe your heart rate got up a little bit during that child's pose flow. Or just by flipping over. Let your breath slow. Your heart slow. Extend your left leg out onto the mat. Let your heel be far away from your hip. Make a nice long left leg and pull your right knee into your chest. Do a little point and flex and circle of both feet. Does that make you feel uncoordinated? I can only seem to focus on one foot at a time. And roll yourself up a little bit. The shoulders and head off of the mat. Take hold of the outer edge of your right foot and then come back down. So we're in a half happy baby. So if you have a strap nearby and you'd prefer to use that, or if you want to hold on to your shin or the back of your right thigh, whole goal being pulling the right thigh into the side of the chest, like knee coming maybe even to the outside. Mine's on the outside of your armpit. And really extend that left heel away from you. See what happens when you flex the left foot and press your left footprint on the wall ahead of you. Switch your right leg into your left hand and find a twist. So bringing your right leg across your body toward the left. And then maybe sending your right arm out to the side. But the way this twist got set up, your right shoulder might be pretty high off the ground. It might be uncomfortable to extend your right arm out. So maybe let your right arm rest on your ribs. Roll to your back. Send your right foot straight up to the ceiling, and then a long right leg comes down to rest next to the left. Then once it lands, pull your left knee into your chest. And then again, point and flex and circle. And then roll up, catch whatever you catch for a half happy baby on the left. Then flex the right foot and send the right heel way down to the bottom of your mat. And see, maybe squeeze your buns on your right side and see if that changes anything. Or like squeeze your quads. Make your leg really strong, your right leg really strong. See if that is interesting to you. Then switch your left leg into your right hand. Come into your twist. Do what you like with the left arm. Maybe let the right hand rest on the outside of the left knee and use a little resistance. Press your hand into your leg and your leg into your hand. Your chocolate is in my peanut butter. Your peanut butter is in my chocolate. Roll back to your back. Send your left foot straight up to the ceiling. And a long left leg joins the right. Find a full breath here. Grab your blocks and set them up for supported fish or for the chest opener that we do. And I know you know how to use your blocks, so I'll let you manage that. One behind your shoulder blades, one behind your head, whatever height works for you. arms come wherever it's comfortable to find a nice open chest. But as the theme of the day seems to be not the most open chest, not the stretchiest stretch, not the twistiest twist, just right. See how full you can get your lungs here. Maybe like 3 times. That is not me snoring. We'll move into Shavasana. If you want to stay here for a little while longer, do that. And then I'll let you know. Well, I mean, I guess you could stay in Shavasana for as long as you want. But I'll let you know if you choose to stay here. I will tell you when there's about I don't know, a minute left of Shavasana. So either stay here or move yourself into your final relaxation. Start to let anything that's still not settled settle. And since this is a recording, you are welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you would like. "10 to 15 minutes is kind of that sweet spot. Any longer, it turns into a nap. Any shorter may feel rushed. You know, in this particular class that we do, just a couple of minutes to reset. But if you have the time, do it. If you're still on your blocks and you'd like to move into Shavasana, do that. If you're already there, keep on being there. Two more breaths. When you feel ready, roll to your side. Find a breath or two here. And come to seated. Send your arms out to the side. Big reach up, get long. And pull hands into heart center. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace.